It's hard to predict the future, but you can be better at predicting the future. All you need is a few delicious avocados. This is Love Your Work, and I'm David Cadavy. Wharton professor Phillip Tetlock wanted to make the future easier to predict. So he held forecasting tournaments in which experts from a variety of fields made millions of predictions about global events. And Tetlock found, surprisingly, that experts are no better at predicting the future than dart-throwing chimps. In fact, the more high-profile experts, the ones who get invited onto news shows, were the worst at making predictions. But Tetlock found that some people are really great at telling the future. He calls them Superforecasters. And regardless of their area of expertise, they consistently beat the field with their predictions. Tetlock also found that with a little training, people can improve their forecasting skills. The Superforecasters in Tetlock's Good Judgment Project, people from all backgrounds working with publicly available information, make forecasts 30% better than intelligence officers with access to classified information. As someone working in the extremistan world of creative work, I am always trying to improve my forecasting skills. If I publish a tweet, how many likes will it get? If I write a book, how many copies will it sell? The chances of getting any of these predictions exactly right are so slim, it doesn't feel worth it to try to predict these things at all. But that doesn't mean I can't rate my predictions and make those predictions better. If you would like to be better at predicting the future, I have a challenge for you. I call it the Avocado Challenge. Elon Musk recently asked on Twitter, "What can't we predict?" I answered, whether or not an avocado is ready to open. 12 likes. People agree with me. Okay, here's how the Avocado Challenge works. The next time you're about to open an avocado, make a prediction. How confident are you the avocado is ripe? Choose a percentage of confidence, such as 50% or 20%, or if you're feeling lucky, 100%. To make it simple, you can rate your confidence on a scale of 0 to 10. State your prediction out loud or write it down. Now, open the avocado. Is it ripe? Yes or no? You now have two variables, your prediction as stated in percentage confidence and the outcome of avocado ripeness. With these two variables, you can calculate what's called a Breyer score. This tells you just how good your forecast was. The Breyer score is what Phillip Tetlock uses to score his forecasting tournaments. It works like this. Translate your percentage confidence into a decimal between 0 and 1. So 50% would be 0.5, 20% would be 0.2, 100% would just be 1. Now, translate the avocado ripeness outcome into a binary number. If the avocado was not ripe, your outcome value is 0. If the avocado was ripe, your outcome value is 1. Now, you may wonder, how do I determine whether or not an avocado is ripe? I'll get to that in a minute. Let's pretend for a second that it's easy. Now, once you have these two variables, there are two steps to follow to find out your Breyer score. 1, subtract the outcome value from your confidence value. If I was 50% confident the avocado would be ripe, that confidence value is 0.5. If the avocado was in fact ripe, I subtract the outcome value of 1 from 0.5 to get negative 0.5. 2, square that number or multiply it by itself. So negative 0.5 squared equals 0.25. Our Breyer score is 0.25. Is that good or is that bad? The lower your Breyer score, the better your prediction was. If you were 100% confident the avocado would be ripe and it was not, your Breyer score would be 1, the worst score possible. If you were 100% confident the avocado would be ripe and it was ripe, your Brier score would be 0, the best score possible. So 0.25 is pretty solid. This is a fun exercise to try one time, but it doesn't tell you a whole lot about your forecasting skills overall, and it doesn't help you improve your forecasting skills. Where it gets interesting and useful is when you make a habit out of the avocado challenge. After you've tried the avocado challenge a couple times, make a habit out of it. For 30 consecutive avocados, tally your results. Calculate your Brier score and find the average of your 30 predictions. If you regularly open avocados with a roommate or partner, make a competition out of it. My partner and I predicted the ripeness of, then opened 36 avocados over the course of several weeks. We recorded our predictions and outcomes on a notepad on the fridge, then we tallied our results in a spreadsheet. Our findings? 28% of avocados were ripe. Her Brier score was 0.22. Mine was 0.19. I win. Most of us don't make predictions according to our percentage confidence. We say, I think so-and-so is going to win the election, or I think it might rain. Phillip Tetlock even found this with political pundits, the ones who get lots of airtime on news shows. They'll say things like, there's a distinct possibility. That's not a forecast. If so-and-so wins the election, you can say, ha, I knew it. If it didn't rain, you can remind your friend you said you thought it might rain. And what does a distinct possibility mean? You can be right either way. And when it comes to getting airtime on news shows, the news show doesn't care if the political pundit gets their prediction right. All that matters is they can be exciting on camera, speak in sound bites, argue a clear point, and hold the viewer's attention a little longer so it can be sold to advertisers during the commercial break. We normally don't make our predictions with a percentage confidence because we aren't used to it. The Avocado Challenge gets you in the habit of rating the confidence of your predictions. The Avocado Challenge also helps you define reality. This is something we're also bad at. If you're on a walk with your friend and you say you think it's going to rain, how much rain equals rain? By what time is it going to rain? You're traveling on foot. Is it going to rain where the walk started or the place you'll be a half hour from now? To rate your predictions and become a better forecaster, you need to make falsifiable claims. It's hard to tell if an avocado is ripe before you open the avocado, but it's also hard to tell if an avocado is ripe after you open the avocado. You'll have to come up with criteria for determining whether or not an avocado should be defined as ripe. When we did the avocado challenge, we defined a ripe avocado as a perfect avocado. Uniform green color with the meat of the avocado sticking to no more than 5% of the pit. A few weeks after we did the avocado challenge, my partner and I were at her family's finca, a rustic cabin in the Colombian countryside. It was Sunday afternoon and we were getting ready to head back to Medellin. I was eager to get home and get ready for my week. I asked my partner what time we would leave. She said about 3 p.m. As I mentioned on episode 235, the Colombian sense of time takes some getting used to for me as an American. Even though my partner is a very prompt person, I'm also aware of the planning fallacy. I know the Sydney Opera House opened 10 years late and cost 15 times the projected budget to build. So when I looked at the Mitsubishi Montero parked in the grass and thought about how long it might take to pack in 8 people, 3 dogs, and a little white rabbit, the chances of us leaving right at 3 p.m. seemed slim. Fortunately, we had done the avocado challenge. I asked my partner, in Spanish, what's your percentage confidence we'll leave before an hour after 3 p.m.? 4 p.m. She shifted into avocado mode, thought a bit, and said, 60%. She was 60% sure we'd leave before 4 p.m. That didn't seem super confident, so I asked for another forecast. I asked what her percentage confidence was that we'd leave before 5 p.m., 2 hours after the target time. She said 100%. She was 100% sure we'd leave before 5 p.m. Now, instead of choosing between expecting to leave at exactly 3 p.m. or just leaving whenever, I now had a range. It was a range I could trust from someone with experience with similar situations and training in forecasting. The time we did leave? 3:30 p.m. My partner's Breyer score for that first prediction? 0.16. Average Breyer score for the two predictions? 0.08. Not bad. Thank you for having me on your podcasts. I've been on quite a few lately. Check me out on The Reader's Journey from Alex and Books, on Debbie Jenkins's Chaos to Creation Confessions, on Ravi Raman's The Motivated Life, and on Connor Butts's Personal Productivity. If you would like to have me on your podcast, I would love to be on. Please email me at david@cadavy.net. One thing I've learned in over a decade as an independent creator is to invest in ideas. They really are everything. Most of them don't work out, but the ones that do can be big. I had one idea that led to a book deal and transformed my life. I had another idea that connected me with a company that later sold to Google, which brought a surprise payday. Big ideas start small, and the place I share my ideas first is my weekly newsletter. It's called Love Mondays, and each week I share a big little idea about how to break through to become a true original and make it as a creator. I also share my favorite quotes and books and tools for thought. Think of Love Mondays as like a shot of creative fuel to start off your week. There's several thousand subscribers. We're having a good time. Join Love Mondays at kdv.co/newsletter. That's kdv.co/newsletter. You might have noticed I don't have ads on Love Your Work. I haven't had them for a long time now. In fact, a big company whose name you would definitely recognize offered me money to advertise on this show recently, and I had to turn it down. Why? Because some money feels good, some money feels not as good. When I see that somebody bought one of my books, that feels good. When a company advertises on the show, it's money, but that doesn't feel quite as good. Another kind of money that feels really good is the money I get from my Patreon supporters. It feels like an honest exchange. It's a vote of confidence that they like the show. Since I myself support a number of creators on Patreon, I know it feels good to vote with my dollars and support the kind of work I would like to see in the world. And that's what I'm trying to do here. Make the kind of podcast I want to listen to and share the ideas I want to see in the world. So if you like the show, a great way to let me know is to support the show on Patreon. Even a few bucks a month helps. It really adds up over all the dedicated listeners, and it motivates me to keep doing what I'm doing. If you'd like to support the show, visit the Patreon page at patreon.com/cadavy. You'll see the different levels and perks available. Even if you're on the fence, check out the page. Again, it's at patreon.com/cadavy. That's patreon.com/cadavy. Thanks for your support. And thank you to our newest Patreon supporters, Bob Rosen and Craig Scott Roberts. Love Your Work is brought to you in part by our top Patreon supporters, such as Jeffrey Mason. The theme music for Love Your Work is At Sea by Dorena from the album About Everything and More, by arrangement with Deep Elm Records at deepelm.com. Love Your Work is a production of Cadavy, Inc.